Welcome to the session on estimating fecal sludge generation. Hi, I'm Swarna. I work with Wash Institute. In this session, we will understand what is fecal sludge, why do we need to estimate fecal sludge generated in a town, and what are different methods to estimate. Fecal sludge is the solid or semi-solid slurry collected from on-site sanitation systems such as pit latrines and septic tanks. It is a mixture of human excreta and water that accumulates over time. It is highly concentrated when compared to used water and therefore requires safe management and treatment to prevent environment contamination and protect public health. Estimating fecal sludge generation is essential for determining the desludging equipment and vehicle required. Accurate estimation of fecal sludge will help in determining the capacity needed for fecal sludge emptying, transportation and treatment facilities. It also helps in assessing the adequacy of existing fecal sludge management infrastructure. To estimate the generation of fecal sludge in the town, there are three methods based on the availability of data. 1. Estimate the generation using population method. 2. Estimating the fecal sludge collected through operators. And 3. Estimating the quantity emptied from containment systems. First, let us look at the fecal sludge generation method. In this, we try and estimate what is the sludge accumulation in the on-site system such as pit or septic tank. Due to their designs, the accumulation rates are different. Hence, to start with, we need to know the different types of on-site sanitation systems and the number of households using them. To calculate the total fecal sludge generation of the town, we need to multiply the population by their respective generation rates and then add the two volumes. Standard generation rates calculated based on IS code 2470 and CPHEU manual on sewerage and sewage treatment systems are shared for reference. If the town has conducted a detailed survey of sludge generation rate, then those numbers should be used instead of recommended values. Let us take the example of a town with a population of 1 lakh, where 70% of the population is dependent on septic tank and the rest on pits. To calculate the septic generator per day, we will multiply 70% of the population, which is 70,000, by the septic generation rate of 0.328 liters per capita per day. Thus, the fecal sludge generation through the population dependent on septic tanks comes out to be 22.9 kiloliters per day. Similarly, for fecal sludge generated from pits, we will multiply the population dependent on pits, which is 30,000, by the sludge accumulation rate of 0.18 liter per capita per day. Hence, the fecal sludge generation through the population dependent on pits comes out to be 5.4 kiloliters per day. Therefore, the total fecal sludge generated per day is 28.3 KLD. Now, let us look at the second method of estimation through fecal sludge collected by desludging operators. We need to gather data on the fecal sludge collected by desludging operators, which includes the number of vehicles of each size in use, the average volume of fecal sludge collected per trip, and the average number of trips completed per vehicle per day by all service providers. This information obtained from in-depth interview with desludging operators will allow us to calculate the total fecal sludge collected. The total fecal sludge collected per day is the sum of fecal sludge gathered by all the vehicles. Let us look at the example of the same town where there are 3 vehicles in operation, of which 2 vehicles have a capacity of 5 kiloliter each and 1 vehicle with a capacity of 3 kiloliters. On average, 90% of each vehicle is filled per trip and each 5 kl and 3 kl vehicles make 2 trips per day. The fecal sludge collected by each vehicle is calculated by multiplying the number of vehicles by the average number of trips and the volume of fecal sludge collected per trip. The fecal sludge collected by each type of vehicle is then added to compute the total fecal sludge collected per day, which in this case comes out to be approximately 24 KLD. Let us look at the fecal sludge emptied from containment systems prevalent in the town. We need to know the following details. Number of containment systems capital N, average capacity of containment systems V, average frequency of desludging small f, number of days the desludging operations are conducted per year small d. These details can be collected through household surveys. To calculate the fecal sludge being collected per day, the number of containment systems in the town is multiplied by the average volume of these systems to determine the total fecal sludge generated by the town. This value is then divided by the average desludging period in the number of working days. This frequency can be updated if one is planning to propose a periodic desludging in the town. Now, let us look at the example of same town where there are approximately 14,000 septic tanks and 6,000 pits of average capacity of 4,500 liters and 2,500 liters respectively. Let's consider that the average desludging period for septic tank is 8 years and that of pit is 6 years. Fecal sludge collected from both the systems is calculated by applying the formula and finally added to calculate the total fecal sludge collected from the town. Septage emptied from septic tank is calculated by multiplying the number of tanks, that is 14,000, with average volume of 4,500 liters. To calculate the per day collection, the total fecal sludge emptied is divided by number of working days in the desludging period, which is calculated by multiplying number of working days in 1 year, that is 300, with the average desludging period in years, that is 8 years. Total septage emptied per day comes out to be 26,250 liters, that is 26.25 KLD. Similarly, fecal sludge emptied from pits is calculated by multiplying number of pits, that is 6,000, with the average volume, that is 2,500 liters. To calculate fecal sludge emptied per day, the total volume emptied is divided by number of working days in desludging period, which is calculated by multiplying 300 days per year and average desludging period, that is 6 years. Hence, fecal sludge emptied from pits comes out to be 8.34 KLD. Total fecal sludge emptied from the tanks and pits comes out to be 34.58 KLD. One can compare the values obtained from all the 3 methods, and if the variance is not too high, the average of the 3 values can also be taken. One can choose the method that is based on the most reliable data. Generally, the collection method based on the fecal sludge collected by desludging operators is closest to the actual practice. Please note that with all 3 methods, we are estimating the existing volume of fecal sludge generated. This estimation should be updated based on the population projection and desludging frequency. Now, let us look at how to calculate the fecal sludge generation for projected population. Once we have estimated the fecal sludge generated in existing scenario, we just need to multiply it with projected population after 10 years and divide it with current population. For example, if the existing fecal sludge generated is taken as 24 KLD and the projected population is estimated as 1,10,000, with the current population is 1 lakh, then fecal sludge generated in 2034 will come as 25.4 KLD or 26 KLD. But at the same time, the town might want to move towards periodic desludging, and one will have to consider that factor too while estimating. Let us look at the difference between an on-demand desludging and scheduled desludging. While on-demand desludging is done in case of emergency, where desludging period can be as high as 20 years, scheduled desludging is provided as a regular maintenance service where frequency generally ranges between 2 to 5 years. In scheduled desludging, the cost of service will be much lower as compared to on-demand due to efficiencies on operation. In case of on-demand desludging, higher variation in characteristics is expected and hardening of sludge at the bottom of the tank will demand extra effort during desludging, while consistent characteristics is expected in scheduled desludging. In on-demand, the quality of effluent is worse than in scheduled and it is difficult to ensure regular load to treatment facility for on-demand desludging, while regular load is ensured in case of scheduled desludging. Overall, if a scheduled desludging is successfully implemented, the city can do better fecal sludge management. And to calculate the volume of fecal sludge that will be generated, one just need to update the frequency of desludging to the desired period in the formula. An Excel-based tool is available to help estimate the fecal sludge generation through all three methods. The tool can be downloaded from the link provided in the description of the video. In summary, managing fecal sludge is a crucial component of used water management. There are three methods to estimate fecal sludge generation in the town. Based on the quality of data available, one can choose the most appropriate method or take the average of all three values. Fecal sludge generated should be estimated for the projected population, and one can also update the frequency of desludging in case of scheduled desludging. The Excel-based tool for estimation of fecal sludge generated is available to download and use. Thank you for going through this session.